It's Anya here, and welcome to another Collaboration Clubhouse. And with me, I have Marco Bucci and John Hardesty.
They're here for Marco. Let's be honest. They're here for Marco. So am I. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
No, triple threat. Hi, everyone. Great to be here.
Hi.
What's up, guys?
Thank you, Anya, for having me.
Happening.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm actually like surprised that I was able to get you on here. I always like put out feelers and ask people, and I was enamored and completely blown away that you said yes. So yeah, thank you.
Oh,
I will say, to get us all started, I have a little story for everybody. So last year, I went to Lightbox for the first time ever, and Lightbox, if you don't know, is a super awesome expo. Right. And I met a lot of people. Right. Have you guys ever listened to a song and you know like what the song is and you've known for a long time, but you never associate that song with its name or with the person who made it? So the way that I grew up, I didn't always do art, and there was a long period in my life when I was kind of like that person on social media that was like always scrolling and looking at all the art because it's just really cool to see. And I've actually been a really long time fan of Marco Bucci without even knowing it. Sorry, Marco Bucci. So I would like your posts and save them. There's a lot of things that are actually on my computer from a long time ago that were saves of pieces of art that I really liked a few. And it wasn't until a few years later when I started doing a lot of research into different illustrators that I liked that I found out about you. And a lot of the color theory that I know is actually something you taught me from your YouTube.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, everybody needs to check out his YouTube, like 100%.
They really do.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I'm going to post it in the chat on here, too.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. So in learning from you, there's like this whole color journey that I went on. I used to be very insecure about my colors. I would like color pick everything. And it wasn't until John over here called me out on it one day that I started learning it for real. And it actually came to me naturally because of a lot of the YouTube videos that I had passively watched over time from you, Marco.
Yeah. Oh, no way.
So when I met you at Lightbox, it was this weird thing because I wasn't looking for you. I was just walking down the artist alley, right? And I met you. And so I don't fangirl with people at all, right? I don't do that. But so I met you and I was like, that it meant a lot to me. You know how if you're a fan of someone for a long time, you might fangirl, but I didn't. It's like listening to a song you knew and you didn't know the name of the person who made it for a long time. And then you meet them and you're like, oh, and everything connects at the same time. So I suddenly, while shaking your hand, realized, oh, wow, this actually means a lot to me. And it was really, really nice. So it was a little bit of a unique experience. And so I just want to let everyone know, hey, if you don't know his YouTube, you definitely should check it out. But also, as an educator, I really admire the way that you put everything together. And speaking of education, you have a book coming out, don't you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for that story. I remember our meeting so well. You have a presence about you, Anya, that is memorable. I don't know how to also describe it. So I totally remember. I'm pretty good at remembering people I meet at Lightbox anyway, but you stand out for sure, even above that. And thank
you.
It's a pleasure to be here. So thank you. And I just want to say, like, I feel like I feel privileged to be asked to attend, live shows like this and live chats. So it's totally my pleasure. It's not like I feel like I'm sitting here doing anyone a favor. You guys are doing me a favor by having me co-host. So thank you.
I fangirled over Marco a little bit, maybe. Did I fangirl? I probably did. That's my thing, right? I fangirl.
Well, here, let me tell a story about how I met John.
Oh no, I don't.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
I remember the area, but I said a lot that night, so I don't know what this is going to be.
No, we were at a at Lightbox. It was at Lightbox this past October, almost a year ago now, and we were at a dinner hosted by John Navarez.
Yeah,
Amazing host who gets some artists together every year. We go out and he books a spot, so we were all there. I'd never met John, although I knew who you were, John, because of your teaching as well. So but I didn't know. I sat beside you, but I had no idea who you were. So, me being a little bit introverted, I didn't introduce myself. I just kind of stuck to myself and just was talking to the people who I already knew. And you're sitting there.
It was hard to hear in there. It was, to be fair, it was like hard to hear. It was like pretty loud, It
was hard to hear for sure. But then, and your son was there. And I remember, I think what it was you were talking to your son about jujitsu or something, or Muay Thai or something, some combat sport related thing. Yeah. And I lean over, I'm like, you guys fans of combat sports? And you're like, oh yeah. And then you told me about your history with it and like your son studying it and all that. And then we introduced ourselves. I'm like, oh, you're Bar.
That's right. That's right.
We proceeded to spend basically the whole combat sports and ignoring everyone else.
Yeah. Now, what did you yell? Like, because you came up on the street and yelled. What was it? What was the fight? Like, what was going on? Remind me.
So that was going to be actually my next part of the story. So what happened there was awesome. It's the dude I'm trying to sketch around now. Francis Ngannou was the UFC heavyweight champion, and when the night after we met, Francis Ngannou was making his boxing debut. He's not a boxer, but he was making his boxing debut against the heavyweight boxing champion. So, he's set up to lose kind of. It's not his sport. He's making his debut. We're like, he's going to get trashed in there by the heavyweight champ. So long story short, he does lose the fight, but he performs amazingly well, exceeds everyone's expectations. It's like Rocky 1. He knocks the champ down. It's amazing. So that night, which is the next night, the fight happened. It's the next night. I'm looking for you all day, John. I don't see you. Can't find you. So I'm like, the only one in this Lightbox building who can appreciate this is John Hardesty.
Right. That's right.
And his son, 2 people.
That's right.
So I'm looking for you. Can't find you. The Lightbox show ends. Like the floor closes like 6 p.m. whatever it was. I'm walking back to my hotel and I see you like 300 meters down the street. I see you, and I just start booking it because I don't know when you're going to duck into a hotel or a car. Right. So I'm just booking it down the street, and I catch you, and I must have scared you guys. Like I catch you, and I'm like, guys, I'm out of breath. I'm like, guys, did you see the results of the fight? And then from there we proceed to nerd out for another 10 minutes about the results of the fight.
Dude, it was awesome. It did scare us, but I like that because I don't often get surprised, and I like it. And I was like, oh, that was awesome. And it was appropriate too, because you're talking about combat sports, and you totally could have like destroyed me. You could have snuck up on me and like clubbed me and done whatever, man. It was awesome. No, that was hilarious. I was like, Sam was like, I think Sam said when you left, he was like, I like that guy or something like something like that. I was like, I know, he's awesome.
Your son is super cool, John. I hope you guys are doing all right.
Yeah, man, doing good.
Shout out to Yana. I see you, Yana, in there. I see you drawing me as a zombie. I'll have to get you back.
I gotta see this. Where is this?
The bottom there with the
got you.
Curly hair.
Oh, I got you.
That's me as a zombie.
Okay, so that's me. I'm drawing the top. I didn't know.
Yes, there is.
You,
okay, so the chat is in. Okay, it's in the Magma.
Okay.
So it's just right down here, bottom right hand corner. There's like a little chat bubble, and it'll pop up, and you can actually like move it anywhere you want.
Chat bubble. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's the chat.
I didn't know this was you. If this is you, I'm going to give you some like sweet bruising, like you got in a fight or something. I didn't know it was you.
Yeah, Yana. I think Yana started it, and then it looks like you jumped in on it.
Yeah, I didn't know it was you though. That's. I think I took it the zombie direction.
It still looks like a caricature of me. Just to quickly just go on what Anya was talking about. I do have a book coming out. It's a drawing foundations book that I've been wanting to write for a while, because the quick backstory about the book is people might know me from YouTube as a painter. Like that's what I do. I'm a painter in the sense that that's what my art that's the path my art takes, is I always paint it. But the thing I know from teaching for more than 10 years now is like painting is rooted in drawing. And I think everyone here knows that. Painting, you can't paint well if you can't draw well.
Yeah.
And just because you see someone painting something, it doesn't mean that they somehow lack drawing skill. If it's the opposite. A good painter is also a good draftsman. So the book focuses on the drawing part. It's literally called Foundations in Drawing. The book title is Debt-Free Art Degree, Foundations in Drawing. And it's meant to be, if the book goes well, it's meant to be part one of a series of, where I'll get to painting eventually, let's say. But it publishes in November. It's published by Quarto Press. You might, if you've heard of T.B. Choi, her book was also published by them. So it's a reputable publisher. They will have the book out in November of this year. So it's available for pre-order now. And Anya has kindly provided the link there in the chat. Thank you. If I'm doing a little promotion here to drive pre-orders, because pre-orders really help like algorithms and stuff like that. If you and you'll see this on my website, if you pre-order before September, so a few weeks from now, I will give you back as a thank you, a personal art review. And if you want details on that, I'll put it in the chat. If you go to marcobucci.com/book, which is right there in the chat, you can find details on, it's simple. You basically pre-order the book on whatever retailer you like, and then send me the proof of that as well as an art piece. And I will get back to you before the book comes out in November. So a few months, maybe, depending on timelines. But I'll get back to you in some kind of reasonable amount of time with a review of a piece that you submit to me, just as a thank you for your pre-order, because it really does help.
Nice. I'm going to do that and then send something, and I want you to completely shred it.
I already sent him something. I'm really excited. I actually I pre-ordered it. We were talking about this live chat, and I was like, oh yeah, we can advertise whatever you want. And he sent me the link to give for today, and I was like, already bought it.
Yeah, that's right. I have it up. I have it up. I just
Instantly
brought it up too. I was like, yeah, that's happening.
So you guys, if you want to check him out, if you don't, well, obviously, probably you already know Mr. Marco over here. But if you don't, definitely check him out. I'm gonna give a whole ton of resources. I also found a Proco AMA. So if you have little basic questions, they're probably answered there. You can also check that. You gave such long, beautiful answers in that AMA. It's actually beautiful.
That's because I don't know how to stop talking. But yeah,
I got that same thing. I know what you're talking about too. I got that same thing.
Yeah, I feel like when
Frank,
especially when because online there's no real-time feedback, right? So I'm talking in
Right?
real life. A student would be like, "Oh, okay, cool, I get it."
Yes.
But you can't do that online. I just keep going. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? Here's more.
Yes.
yeah.
They give you that visual feedback,
Yeah.
they stop paying attention or whatever, and you're like, okay, you're good. But you're right. You can't man, my kids.
It's hard
say it all the time.
Yeah. I remember I used to do a mentorship program, and I'd have to remind myself to stop every maybe 15 minutes and be like, is everyone following? Or because I'm like a wall of conversation, talking when I start teaching. I'm trying not to do that here because we have other co-hosts. So I'm trying to be.
Oh, no worries.
Right.
I actually want to ask you a question. I'll be the bulldozer. Because I'm asking the questions.
All right.
So speaking of teaching, because I have a list of questions that I have thought of since we've thought about this live stream for you. And I've tried to engineer them to be interesting to the people in Magma, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you, speaking of teaching, how your approach to teaching and mentoring other artists has evolved over the years. When you started, were there things that you did that you no longer do now? And what things do you do now that you wish you knew before?
That's a good question. I guess I've learned over time to not assume. I try not to assume anything beyond a very base level of knowledge, and this is weird because it's not like I want to talk down to the student, but I learn when someone tells me kind of everything from the ground up. So for example, if I'm doing a class and I'm like, you should use warm and cool colors. Well, that assumes that someone knows how to use warm and cool colors. And I try not to do that. So if I'm going to say, if the point of my lesson is you should use warm and cool colors better or whatever it is, I have to stop and like not be lazy and take it upon myself to explain a few tactics to navigate that. So it took me a bit of time to learn to not assume knowledge. Not assume knowledge. It sounds almost insulting to say that. I'm not trying to sound like that. But I try and if I do say something that is assuming of some kind of knowledge, I do try and stop and go into it for a little bit to a degree that I think is appropriate for the lesson. And honestly, that's the thing that drives my YouTube content is because I have done a lot of teaching and I continue to. I notice where students, and remembering myself as when I was a younger student, I notice the trends where people have struggles, and that becomes the YouTube video, like the backstory of that, like how to navigate color temperature becomes my YouTube stuff. And then typically how I treat my premium courses, which I have on my website and stuff like that, my premium courses are the more applied stuff. So it also goes into foundations as well, but my YouTube stuff is more like foundational. And then my premium stuff is, more applied, where I'll just paint for 3 hours and talk. But painting for 3 hours and talking is great and maybe entertaining, but if you don't have the foundations, it's kind of useless. It might be inspiring, but it's not exactly. Oh, guys, my plumber's calling. I got to go for a minute. I warned everyone about this.
It's all good.
That's
all good.
The beginning of a joke.
Don't worry. We'll
like the beginning of a joke. Like, right? That's it. That's
two plumbers walk into a bar. Marco leaves.
He's like, that's awesome.
It makes no sense.
See, real stuff, guys. Real stuff.
For
like
sure,
artists
for sure.
like have,
so let me go more in detail, because you remember when I first started my mentorship with you, how much difficulty I had with color, right? And it was like I wasn't getting it, and all of a sudden I immediately was like doing really great at it.
Yeah.
So what that was, I had a previous mentor before you, who I shall not name, right?
Oh, okay.
And it's not that they did me any harm. It's that they said to me, saturated colors, like professional artists don't use those. And
that's
what he
really
meant,
weird. It's really
like
weird.
what he meant was like, when I see really saturated
Sorry, Blizzard.
colors,
Sorry, Blizzard. Right? Yeah.
so like,
you guys aren't doing it right.
what he meant was like, you have to earn the saturation with like grays and stuff around the painting, instead of like, have you ever seen like a picture where it's like just nonstop saturation everywhere?
Yeah.
It's not balanced, right? So what he meant was balance, but how I took it was like, don't use saturation ever. So that's when I started like color picking every single thing. So I'd have like my mood board would have like things that I want to draw, and then colors that I would want to color pick off of. So like images that I was like, I like that color combo, I'll just color pick that to put it into my image. Right.
Yes.
And so I did that forever. It was you who called me out. You were like, so, you were so sweet too. You were like, not that I think you're color picking, but when someone color picks, usually it looks like this. And I was like, me? Of course not, whatever. But eventually I started taking this seriously, learning like how to operate the color picker. And instantly all of the lessons from his YouTube like hit me in the face. It's like it was all there, but I just wasn't accessing all the knowledge. And as soon as I started doing it, I remembered all the stuff from his YouTube. And no joke, I think I sent you like 1 or 2 illustrations, and you were like, I don't really have to coach you that much on color. And it's literally all his YouTube. Sorry, I have to point that way. His image is over there. It's literally all his YouTube. So you guys, when I tell you this guy's book is going to be really good, and I trust his word with him like teaching those fundamentals, that book is going to be lit. Definitely go blow it up.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing too, because like when anybody that focuses on fundamentals, like that they're legit.
So good.
Like they're legit, because they've actually like, that's what you find with everything. Like you have to get back to fundamentals. Like you have to get back to that, and like everybody always finds their way back to that. Like they always do, and so that's why it's funny. Like whenever somebody's like, I don't want to practice ellipses, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do, and you're like, well,
okay,
all these guys that are really, really good are practicing it every day, like Vouder and all these. I'm like, so you're just, so it's just funny. Like when people are scared of, or when they're like bored with fundamentals, I'm like, well, maybe you just don't like drawing. because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's like it's like I don't like playing scales on my violin. It's like I get it, like it gets boring, but like to just only play scales. But if you never ever want to
But
play
it's
scales, like I'm
foundation.
like, yeah, I'm
I've
like,
had
do
so
you
many people
really?
ask me, like, how do you sing and play piano at the same time? That sounds like it would be so hard. But if you play for years and years and years and you know all your scales, when you're playing, you're not even thinking about playing.
Yeah, it's like
You're just
language. It's like
doing it.
language.
So,
Yeah,
like, if when I'm singing and playing, I play, and when I'm singing, I'm more paying attention to the words than the sounds coming out of my mouth. And I
yeah,
don't even think about my hands. That's a foregone conclusion. So when you're doing your fundamentals, you're actually laying the foundation to being able to draw like correctly without having to struggle with like, oh, how do I draw hair? How do I draw hands? Like, how do
yeah,
I
yeah.
make sure this is in
That's right.
perspective? How do I make sure my values are right? Or how do I make this look like skin? Like, well, you get to know all those things if you just practice them, and then when you go to execute a drawing, then you're like, you've got it. It just
Well,
clocks right in.
yeah, I mean, like
It's
that's
awesome.
like I remember Dorian, a buddy of mine, he used to say like he said like it's like it goes from like the order of learning stuff goes like unconscious ineptitude, so you're bad but you don't know it. Then you're
Yeah.
bad and you know it, right? Then you're good but you have to really think about it when you do it, and then eventually you can do it without having to think about it. Like that's the process, you know. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so the more you can relegate to your subconscious like that, like what you're saying too, Anya, like the more you can do, right? The more you like headspace you give yourself to make like the important choices, because like a new
Yeah.
artist is like trying to draw crap and can't get it in the right place, and then when you're like, well, this pose is not dynamic, and they're like, well, that's not the problem. It's like the problem is my arm looks like a shark or something. It doesn't even look like an arm, or or whatever,
Oh dear.
like or something. Like
Mhm.
that's what they're struggling with. So yeah, that's the if you're having to read music, like if you're having to look at the music and like be like, okay, this is every good boy does fine. Like, if you're having to like,
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
having
yeah.
to do that, like while you're playing, it's like, well, you probably can't sing. Then that's like too much, So
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's sight readers, and then there's people who take like 2 weeks to learn a piece. So if you practice
yeah,
your fundamentals, you get good at what musicians call sight reading, which is like so well that you can instantly play the piece if you sit down and you've never played it before. That's my best analogy. Welcome
you play an
back.
instrument, Marco? Do you play an instrument?
Yeah, yeah. I also play piano, but I haven't played in a long time. I grew up playing piano, and then I play the guitar.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
nice.
Okay, Marco, I play guitar too, man. Let's
Oh, nice.
go. Yeah, but
Yeah.
played in a band. I played in a band when I was growing up, like for like like 10 years. I played, or like 8 years or something like that. Played in a band. It was fun, man. We played
Cool.
up
Yeah,
and
I
down the
played in
East
a.
Coast.
That's awesome. I played in a punk band in university days. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. Yes, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, we used to play in Baltimore and and in Philly and stuff. Dude, Baltimore, it was like my parents had no idea. It was we were playing rocks. We were playing like all these scummy places, and like it was so rough. Like a rapper got shot across
Oh
the
boy.
street from us. Like one night we were playing, some dude just walked in, just like right dead in the chest, was like bam, like that, while he was on stage. And
Are you
we got it.
serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Like, dude, one time I went in this green room before
Yeah.
a show, and I opened the door, and it was like all I saw was like a smoke cloud and people's legs sticking out of it. And
Oh
it
man.
was a crack smoke cloud that was so thick that
Yeah.
I couldn't see their torsos. And I just like opened the door and I was like, and I just shut it. I was like, I'm going outside. I was like, forget
Oh my
that.
goodness.
I was like, yeah, there was some rough. My parents had no idea because we were like, yeah, we're going down to play at this show. And I was like 16 or 17 or whatever. And my buddies were like 19, so they could get in for the
Right.
well, actually, it was funny because there were some 21 and over shows, but because I was a part of the band and I was tall, like they never asked me. Like they just let us in. Like they let us in the back. Like we never were at the front door. So I was like 16 or 17, and I was like, I shouldn't have been in there. It's like
Wow.
one guy. Oh, listen to this. This is really funny. This tells you like I was in the
Yeah.
wrong part of the world. Or I was in over my head. So this guy, I get down there, and my mom made me chocolate chip cookies. I was like 16, so I took them for the other guys. And this guy's like, you got chocolate chip cookies? I go, yeah. And he goes, are they special cookies? And I was like, yeah, my mom made them like that. And he starts laughing, and he's like, this guy, he like brings his buddies over. He's like, this guy's hilarious. He's like this, that. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, man. And then I look at my buddies. I'm like, what's happening? Like, what just happened? And they were like, dude, John, special cookies. I was like, oh, I didn't know.
That's
so
like
really funny.
That's like straight out of a movie. That's like how you introduce a character. Yeah.
I totally tried to play it just like, yeah, I know. Like, I had no idea. what was going on. It's really funny. In over my head.
That's hilarious. I'm pretty sure there's some famous bands. It might be Guns N' Roses or something where it's the exact same story where he was young, but God and just was playing with older. I can't remember which band it was. It was a documentary I had recently seen, but it's the exact same story.
Yeah, it's crazy what they'll let. Like, if you're a part of the band, like I got offered like everything. Like, I never did it. I didn't want to because like I would see people, and I was like, no, I don't want to do this. But but I got offered like, I mean, by the time I was like 17, I got offered crack like I don't even know, like 500 times,
goodness.
and I was like,
okay.
and I was like, no. But the people that would offer it to me, like had like I could see it on their teeth and like all this stuff. And as a kid, I was like, no, man, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I didn't want to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were a couple people we helped
kids.
get off it though. We helped a couple people get off it though. Like some musicians that we knew, we were like, dude, get off this. And it was good. There was a bum that used to guard our car with a gun. His name was Stan the Man. And we'd buy him dinner when we went down to Baltimore, but we would tell him, don't shoot anybody. We were like, don't shoot anybody. You know? It's like, it was crazy.
You have a very different childhood than me, John.
Well, no, that's the funny part, man, is like, then I would go back to this, like, we weren't rich or anything. We didn't have much money, but it was a total yuppie neighborhood. Like total yuppie. Like, you know, like the kid. And so it's just funny. It was like those two worlds, I guess. I don't know. It's really funny. I worked
at concert venues as well. I had a job promoting concerts when I was like, when I was 16. No, I was older. I was like 18. And I was promoting concerts for like, you know, Battle of the Bands and stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, cool.
That's what we played that a lot of times, like the Battle of the Bands.
Right. So did we. Yeah. So I was a promoter for Battle of the Bands. It was the worst job I ever had. But
oh no. I was gonna say that's really rough, man. Like dealing with the promoting of that side and just in general, just the whole genre in general is rough.
Just wrangling basically other kids to sell tickets to their friends and family. Like, you know, you got to fill the venue and stuff. And my own job was reliant on their success. Like, it was brutal, but I got to meet a lot of seedy sound guys. Those are my favorite guys, the sound guys.
Totally. I'll never forget us playing a show and this guy going, like, he was so unimpressed with us, like as a band.
Yep.
And like he was just like not having it one night, right? And then the next time we played, he was so baked, I guess the first time he was like, why haven't I noticed you guys before? He says over the thing, he's like, you guys are awesome. And we started laughing really loud. We're like, well, last week you told us we sucked. Like, and he was like, oh, I probably was, you know, like affected by something. And I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yep.
Like, soundmen are hilarious. Like
they do not care. I mean, at the venues we were at, you know, the house sound guy. If you're a famous band, you have your own sound
right.
But if you're just a house sound guy, you got to give him $20 at the beginning of your set to make sure he cares a little bit.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I remember we did that.
100%. First thing you do is get a drink for that guy. Like 100%. First thing you do when you go in there. Yeah,
get him a drink. Or I remember I gave him $20 before our set. And I'm like, just turn the mic up, man. Just do something.
Yeah. Just care. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, there's a plumber leaving. It's all good.
We need to collaborate on something, Marco. We need to make a song or something. Anya will sing. You and I will shred on guitar. And
I think the only experience I have with like sound people, it's like at my church, I sang a lot. So the guys are always in the back and I have like the best mic that they have. And they couldn't put it on a mic stand because I've been classically trained in opera. So my
Oh, no way. That's
diaphragm is
awesome.
very strong. So anyway, I sing, but the problem is I sing with a very wide dynamic range.
Okay.
So I sing, and then all of a sudden, like the guy has to like put the mic volume up and down because I'm getting too much like roundness into the sound, and it craps out the microphone.
Yeah.
So
It's got to be a human compressor.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
eventually I had to like, he told me, okay, hold the mic, and when you sing loud, just go like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, just crank it like all the way out here, and then when you're singing softly, bring it back. So I eventually had to.
Yeah, you could do like the Mariah Carey thing where you like hold your ear and you're like when you know, like when you're singing loud, like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. 100%.
I used to, well, I still do, but I back before I had a what?
Sorry.
What?
Frank had the best suggestion ever. Look at the comments.
Oh. That's a good one. Good one, Frank. Yeah, done.
Well, that's so good.
I have a recording set up here, guys. You could come over. We'll record. I used to have a home studio set up. All my gear, I still have it. It's just all in boxes now.
Dude, I have that too. My brother and I did an album. I'll have to send it to you later. You'll think it's really funny, Marco. We did it like for fun. It's on Spotify. It's
oh, no way. That's awesome.
It's funny.
I could bring
but
this.
I've got a full setup here. Yeah, she's got a setup. I've got Native Instruments, like Native Instruments. I've got like the whole, like I was doing a game project and I made the guy buy me like the suite, like the whole suite and like the MIDI controller and all that stuff.
Nice.
And so I've got all that. So dude, we might do this.
100%.
I used to record tons of songs in here, and I never put out an album, but I have a collection on what's it called? Not
SoundCloud,
Bandcamp.
Oh, Bandcamp, yes.
Nice.
Bandcamp, yeah.
That dates it. That dates it back, doesn't it?
That's right,
bro. I love it. Oh,
it's not as bad as like I think when I was younger, we had a GeoCities website.
Oh.
My band.
Oh man!
when I was like 12 or 14 or something, like we made a GeoCities site.
Oh man, when you were 12 or 14, I was born.
I know, right? When were you born, Anya? 94.
Sorry, guys.
You're 94.
The year of the Lion King.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Is that 94 or what is it?
Yeah,
it is 94.
94.
I'm proud that I was born on that year when the Lion King was put out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for making everyone feel old.
That's
Sorry.
Well, it's okay. One of my big life insecurities now is like I got old overnight. I feel like I was once the target audience for everything.
Yes.
And now I'm old now, and I know it because like 100%. It's that thing where people make references to shows, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. I'm like, I'm aging out of like the cool scene. And there's nothing I can do about it because, like, I don't care about what people like now. I care about what I like, which is 25 years old.
Right.
Oh, no.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
Oh, man.
I'm about to. My next YouTube video, I think, is going to be, I got to start working on it. It's due this month. I want to do like a retrospective on one of my favorite video game graphics. It's from 1997, so again, it's old, but the graphics are still amazing. I won't spoil it to say what game it is, but I'll put the video out this month if I get it done.
What's the game where you you're like running to the right and to the left and you're running from that like lion looking silhouette and then you have to jump over, like there's only one button, it's like jump, that's it, and you run to the it's like it had cinematic scenes. It had cinematic scenes, but it's like it was old. It was really old. Dang it. Like you swing on this rope and then like the lion, oh dang, what is it? Because there's this game, somebody will know what I'm talking about. Yeah, not Pitfall. It was
Chat, be our hero.
But it has a sequence. It has like a video sequence that was done like that. Nobody did it. Like nobody ever did.
A retro gamer in here that knows.
Yeah, somebody knows.
Yeah.
Frank knows what it's. Dang. The environments were really cool. It was a side scroller, and hold on. Okay,
I love some of the comments. They're like, Marco, you're not old, you're vintage.
Is it Outer World? I think it's Outer World. I think that's right.
I think I've got
the same syndrome, but instead of getting old, it's just that I've lived under a rock all of my childhood.
I think it's Outer World.
Well, I just have very eclectic tastes.
I feel like I can relate to that, Anya. I feel like I lived under a rock too, and like my rock was art. Like I lived under the art rock, so that helped me get good at art, I guess. But it didn't help me in many other aspects of life that I had to grow into. But
I
yeah,
hear that.
I remember my university days or college days, whatever. In Canada, I think it's more common to say university than college. I'm not sure.
Wait, where did you go?
I went to a school that's, well, it's still there. It's called, it was called Ryerson University when I went there, but I didn't go for art. I went for film because I couldn't get into art school because I couldn't draw, which is a story I've told on my YouTube channel before. But
yeah, you were like 19, right?
I was 19. Yeah. I wanted to go to Sheridan College, which I'm sure people have heard of because it used to be pretty famous for animation. Now I think but it's not quite as reputable as it once was back then. I tried to go to Sheridan at its height, and they had a portfolio requirement that to this day I'm like, that's unreasonable. I had no hope. Like I got the portfolio requirement. I tried to do it, and I showed some of my drawings in my video. I tried to fulfill it, but there's no way. I knew I wasn't getting in. Luckily, I did get into a film school called Ryerson. I went there for 4 years, and only there did I learn. I met a mentor there who kind of had a studio just up the street. So it was total happenstance and fluke and luck that I met this guy who kind of became my first official teacher / mentor, who showed me, again, from zero skill, zero talent, nothing, showed me how I could pursue this. And he taught me gesture drawing, for example. He taught me how to see forms and volume. And he showed me, like, his teacher was Glenn Vilppu. People probably know Glenn Vilppu. So he trained under Glenn, and Glenn is just a fantastic draftsman and teacher as well. So, I was able to learn from him, and there we go. But I can't remember how I started all that, but yeah, I can't remember what my point
worries. I'm gonna move off of what you just said here. So in working with books, film, animation, and advertising, so your clients include people like Walt Disney, Lego, LucasArts, Mattel Toys. I'm just reading off your site.
Walt Disney himself.
Oh, nice. And a bunch of others. So I want to ask, what is like the most pressure-filled artistic situation that you faced and how you handled that?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, man. I got to think about that one.
Sorry.
Pressure.
No, that's good.
Yeah, that's a very good question.
I mean, John, you can answer too if you want.
Yeah.
I'll answer mine. I'll tell you what it was.
Go ahead,
It's like when I was crying in my studio because I didn't know if my kids were going to eat because I didn't have any money.
Oh,
like,
man.
And like that was probably the most pressure filled. And like I had to pivot and do a bunch of other things. But like, dude, just sitting there being like, I don't know how this is going to happen, And that's like, I think that's the most pressure because like all the other stuff is like whatever. But when your family's going to suffer, I wouldn't care about living in a closet or what, like I wouldn't care. If I lived like Harry Potter, he was such a complainer, such a complainer. If you got a not perfectly fine closet, but like, no, but like, if your family's going to suffer, if they're going to suffer, like that's so, I think that was like, that's hard. That's happened. Like there was one time in particular that was like, my wife and I were just like, okay, so we're going to have to reset. Like, this is going to be a reset, kind of a thing. Wow. And then some things came through, thankfully, and stuff like that. And then it gave me time to like pivot more and do stuff. But yeah, that was probably my most pressure filled. All the other stuff, like I've felt other things like, on the spot, like certain things like you have to do and you're doing demos in front of people or whatever. You don't want to look stupid or whatever, or just doing projects that I was like, sure, I'll do that. And I was like, dang, can I do this? But that's probably the most pressure though. I think for me, I don't know.
Wow.
That's my take.
Well, that's a much more profound answer than I have, John. Because mostly I started with art and my career, I guess luckily before I had a family. I didn't even have a girlfriend at the time. So it was just me. I could have lived in a closet if things didn't go well. And I didn't have that pressure added onto me. So I guess I'm thankful for that. I never really thought of that. Well, I have thought of it, but never in the context of someone else experiencing the opposite. I guess for me, it's a pretty generic answer, but I remember I have a video about this too, because I made a million of those guys. Sorry. I have to refer to them. I worked for this Hollywood director, and the kind of the meme now is in the video I don't name because I don't want to name names. So I'm going to call him Redacted. So name redacted.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's a famous Hollywood director. Found me at an art convention, like a Toronto art convention, and brought me in a private meeting the next week, and he wanted me to work on a TV show. I think it was a movie, TV show / book. It was a bunch of things that he was doing, and I was super starstruck. I couldn't. The meeting went well, and like I got the job, but the second I sat down to like actually draw, name redacted director didn't like it like right away. Like my first batch completely rejected. Yeah, just completely rejected. And I've never been completely rejected. Like I'm used to revisions. Everyone gets revisions,
right?
But this was like no, completely wrong.
No,
start over,
man.
like bad.
Oof.
And the communication, oddly, was very curt. It was like 2 lines. It was like, no, start again, like that kind of thing. I'm like, well, you're a director. Dude. You're a director. Do you have direction?
Right.
And anyway, there seemed to be very little direction coming my way, and I'm trying to represent the story as honestly as possible. So I tried again and failed again. And I remember, to this day, the pit I felt in my stomach. I've never felt anything like that before. And because it was kind of like failing on a high level. Like this was a famous dude, and like if I did this job, it would probably mean a lot of good things would come my way later. But here I am failing. And I remember like trying and trying. I tried like 3 batches of deliveries, and they all were just completely rejected. And I remember calling my then girlfriend, being like, I think I can't do this job. Like I think I'm gonna have to like quit. And she was supportive. But before I could quit, the director fired me. So,
oh, dude,
yep,
dude,
it was very amicable though. It was like, I guess what the director acknowledged, like, I still think you're great and all that, but the fit is not right, and we have to move on. So we had, and he was fair. He had like a severance in the contract. There was like a sort of a severance kind of package, for lack of a better word, and we did that. And we went our own ways. And I have not, and that was like, oh boy, 8-9 years ago. Close to 10 years ago.
Wow.
And the product that I was working on, again, I'm sorry I can't name it. I just don't want to violate.
No, you're good.
No.
It came out, and I could see, it's interesting because it came out as a book first, and I could see the illustrations that they found some other illustrator to do it, and I could see the illustrations they went with. I'm like, oh wow, that is. The illustrations that were actually in the published book were completely like, I don't even know why you would think of me for that illustration style if you wanted that.
Interesting.
And I'm like, that is just not what I do at all. I'm not sure what in my portfolio led him to believe I would do that. But then it came out that then it became a show, and the show was much more in line with what I was doing. I had me work on that. But
right.
I remember, anyways, that was the most pressure and that I had ever felt as a professional. I never felt anything like that since then.
Dude, that's
wow.
like, so I'm starting to get into doing some animation and stuff. And I felt that like the other day, because I was doing this, it's like for this Winnie the Pooh show, I might do like the intro, but I'm doing it. I have like a weird pipeline where I do like VR, like Quill to Blender and stuff. But I had to meet with the director there, and I felt that because I haven't really done that much, like where I'm meeting with directors and stuff like that. And he's done a bunch of films and stuff like that. But I was like, yeah, I definitely felt that, dude. Like, if he were to come on and be like, "This sucks, John," like, or whatever, like, I'd be like, that'd be hard, man. That'd be difficult.
It was like, it was a combination of this. He didn't say sucks, obviously, but he's like basically not good, but without telling me exactly why.
Dude, that's even worse.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't really know how to pivot. Like, as a professional artist, I have ways to pivot. I just need good direction. But this was like, just wholesale rejection. And but you develop thick skin from things like that. And now it's like revisions are always part of the process. I remember.
Yes.
Yeah, I had learned that before this job. This was not when I learned that, but this was the first time it had been like failure to the point of actually leaving the job because I wasn't the right fit. So, and that's only happened to me that one time.
That's good to hear. That like that's like, I think that should be encouraging for everybody, because it's just a part of it. You know what I mean? It's just a part of it. Like, you can't be a boxer and never get knocked down, or never, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So it's like the same thing. Oh, by the way, you guys, I found what game I was talking about. So it's called Another World. Another World. Hey Anya, can you give me
Interesting.
permission to paste? Can you give me permission to paste?
No, John, I'm sorry. I can't trust you.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
Okay,
She's got it locked down. She's got it locked down.
I'm just like, nope, not giving anybody that shouldn't have it permission. But let me just find it. Here you are.
Take a look at this. Look at that.
Now.
Does anybody remember this? Does anybody remember that?
No, I've never seen that. And
okay.
I'm an old school gamer too, and I've never seen that.
So this is called Another World. Dude, when you see this, Marco, like this is from the 80s.
Really?
And yeah, and it's
that looks good for the 80s.
Yes, and it's got like a whole sequence at the beginning, and it's real goofy. Like my kids look at it, they're like, "That Dad, that's super goofy." I'm like, "Yeah, but if you saw at the time what they were producing, like it blew everybody's minds. Like everybody was like, "What the heck?" when that game came out, you know. And it was very limited in scope, but anyways, so good.
Let me throw it. What console was it for?
It was PC, I think primarily, and I think they brought it to the arcade too, I think. But take a look at this. Like this is a shot from the one of the cinematic parts of it, which I know looks like really dumb now, but like this was like just after Pong and stuff. This is just after Pong and stuff. Like, you know, it was like
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. It was definitely like very film like, you know, which was, so like, oh, there's possibilities now, you know. Pretty cool.
It's funny we're talking about video games. You know what I'm building? You know what I was working on 10 minutes before this chat? What I'm building in my garage right now?
I know.
You know. What is it?
A ping pong machine.
No.
Ping ball.
So yes, but that's actually not what I'm talking about right now. I built an arcade cabinet. And
nice.
It runs off a Raspberry Pi.
You know, yes, I have a Raspberry Pi with all that stuff. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So with a Raspberry Pi, you can get something called a Retro Pi, and you can get it runs ROMs. Yes. Yeah. So I built a whole 6-foot arcade cabinet. It's in my garage right now. I was tinkering with it before this chat. And right after this chat, I'm going back down there to configure the controls. And I've got a ton of games on there, like things I remember from the 80s and 90s myself. And I'm going to try and see if I can get this Another World game on there.
Yeah, dude, that's good.
Awesome.
It's really good. It's really good, man. Yeah. Hey, do you have a Dragon's Lair? Do you have Dragon's Lair on your thing?
Not yet. Dragon Slayer or Lair?
No, Dragon's Lair, like Lair. Oh, do you know that? No. You don't know that one with the cartoon? Yeah. Like the who is it that? Oh, dang, who was the artist?
I do know it now because I recognize these graphics. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. It's like you're in a cartoon. That's awesome, man. That one's fun. Great animation too. Great drawing on that.
I love that you built it yourself because like I also like build things.
Yeah, like what?
I'm gonna.
Don Bluth, thank you, Blender. Don Bluth, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
That's sweet.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get like a jigsaw to cut that out?
Yeah.
Nice.
And drill hole like thingy. Sorry, I'm not a carpenter. I know how to do the things. I just don't know all the terms.
Yeah.
I'm an artist, not a. Yeah.
No, that looks good. That looks legit. That looks really good.
It's a palette, right?
Yeah. It's my oil palette, and I will forever be using it.
What did you treat it with? Like, what is it finished with? Like lacquer or something?
Tung oil.
Oh, tung oil. So that makes sense because it would absorb the oil. Yeah.
And then
good job. That's great.
I let it cure, and then every time I paint on it with whatever's left over, I just kind of like rub it in. And this is John's advice: make a patina.
Yeah, that's what I built one. I built like a Tim Burton one, like a lot. I just did it with hand tools, and it had like this curl on it, like and stuff like a weird. I made one a long time ago, and I was like, I knew you should just make one because she was like, oh, well, I think I could do this, and I was like, yeah, you could do it, and then it turned out really good. I was like, dang, that's awesome. I was like, that looks great.
I loved doing it. Like my grandfather was a master carpenter, and when I tell you, like I get all of my kind of like sculpting spatial awareness from him. Yeah. I know like where the artistic capabilities come down genetically from my family.
Right.
He's definitely one of them. And it was a pleasure to do. And I loved seeing like on Instagram you were making your own like cabinet and everything. Like that's awesome.
That's so fun.
Like, congrats, dude.
Oh, thanks. I swear, the other one of my life crises going on, because you know I'm getting to the middle age point where I'm starting to have the crises hit me, and one of them is like, if you had asked me, you know, 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, like, okay, Marco, you have a week to yourself. What do you want to do? All week. Now, if you ask me now, I'd be in the garage woodworking. That would be my thing now.
Right.
So it's like, I haven't lost the love for art, but it's like, I'm newer to other things. Like I've only been woodworking for 6 years now. And I feel like the trajectory that I'm on the graph, part of the graph that I'm going up like this. Whereas with art, I feel like I'm on the straight part.
Yes.
So it's more interesting to me to be in the garage woodworking, because I feel the improvement, that rush of endorphins you get when you're improving and building stuff. And that is what I'm going through now. I'm like, I'm producing much less work. I have like, when I go to paint, I still love it. I still feel like I'm fully creative, and I that rush of creating something is still totally there. But the projects that are calling to me now are all like woodworking projects. So it's a weird feeling that I've never been in before.
It's fun to suck at something too. You know, it's fun to be bad at something, like to be kind of bad at something again and start from like the you know, like build it up. It's really fun. Yeah, I love that.
That's what I want to talk about. That actually like brought me to such a good point. So in my journey, you know how John, you described like the 4 stages. I'm definitely at 3, and you guys are definitely at 4, right? So
I don't even know
my
if you
journey,
get to 4, like totally.
Is 4 the one where you're terrible all over again and you can never get out of it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think like
right.
Yeah.
So basically, like you described to me, I think a few weeks ago, it's like at first the epiphanies come quicker and they're more rewarding, and you go up quite quickly. And after a while, it kind of just slows down, and you get like that increase is very, very small. And it just reminded me as you were talking, it's like falling in love with the journey is the best part. The improvement itself, because so many people focus on like, oh, I want to make art like this person, or I just want to be great, and I want to like accomplish all these things, and they have like the end goal in mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I always tell my students that like one of the biggest things that I say is like the person who loves to walk will walk much further than the person who's trying to get to the restaurant. Right.
That's exactly it.
So if you have a destination in mind, it's like you're fixating on an end point. So growing up, I was in martial arts. So I actually have my black belt.
Really?
But I can beat the crap out of her. I can beat the crap out of her. Let's be honest.
We're gonna stop this right now.
You can, but not when I was like.
Yeah. Back then, you would have.
Can I finish my point?
Yeah.
Can
Go.
I finish my point?
Where was this black belt when we were talking about combat sports 30 minutes ago?
Because I'll tell you why.
A black belt in what? A black belt in what?
So it was Shorin Ryu contact style karate.
Okay.
Oh, amazing.
Wait. So wait. So they have to clarify it by saying contact style karate, like.
Hey,
like,
be quiet, John.
Where we put
John, be quiet. She's gonna front kick you in the face.
Keep
double
going,
spin kick.
Double spin kick, even better.
Whatever. So when I had my black belt, I immediately like just stopped because I was like, oh, I just wanted a black belt. Like I just wanted to say I had a black belt.
Yeah, that happened.
And I stopped, and then I gained a bunch of weight because I kept eating the way that I would normally eat when I was like 3 hours a night in karate class, right? But also like your body remembers the size that it wants to be, and so if you're not working out, it'll just fill that with like fat or whatever, so you get like a different body shape if you don't continue. But the whole point is like I loved martial arts, and it made me really sad to stop. Now, what happened, the community knows, because I've said this on live stream before, I've told this whole story, but I had this very unfortunate, like very rare illness that like rendered me like paralyzed.
Oh, wow.
And I lost, like I went from 187 pounds of like muscle black belt to like 117 pounds within like a month.
Really? Jeez,
so getting back into martial arts would have been extremely difficult. And at the age that I was, which was 15, I just decided to quit. Right. And so that is one of my biggest regrets. And so with art, when I started to really like hammer it down, I remembered, oh, this is how it felt when I was like doing my karate, and this is like how much I tried. I can do this again. So I give it that much effort. And now I realize like how much each step of the process is cherished. Just kind of like a movie, like when you're watching Lord of the Rings for the first time, you're like, this is amazing. But you can never rewatch it the same way for the first time.
Yeah.
That's what this journey is. And
Anya, this is an amazing story.
Well, that's crazy.
Aw.
I think she's making up that whole story about all that so she can like find a way to say, well, I could have beat up John, but I don't have to prove it now or something.
Well, I mean, that's
I always
true.
knew she could beat you up, John. I mean,
No, I'm just messing with you. No, I didn't know about the
I will
paralyzed
say-
part. I didn't know about that.
Oh, no, John, don't you listen when I talk? I've told you.
What?
No, you told me a part of it, but I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't know like the actual weight
okay, funny
amount and
enough.
stuff.
So this is why I'm so like passionate about education. I'm like, you know, some people that are here are my students, so like they know. I'm so passionate about it because literally when I was paralyzed, I had to learn again how to talk because all of my like connections to my body were broken. So I had to learn how to talk, how to use scissors, how to use a pencil, how to do piano again, which is why I'm an average piano player. Before I was a very good piano player. Now I'm just kind of like, eh.
Wow.
And so I had to relearn how to read because all the letters were jumbled up, and I had to like just relearn that. I had to relearn just every human thing that you do, just kind of like a baby. And so on that journey, because when I got out of the hospital, they said, you might never walk again. You might never use a pencil again. Like you might never write again. You might never play piano again. Don't set your expectations on having any children. Don't, all of those things.
Yeah.
So I went and I conquered all of those things. And to this day, I understand, like, I don't have a talent in art. I don't have a talent in singing. I don't have a talent in piano. I don't have a talent in martial arts. I have a talent for learning.
Mm-hmm. This is amazing.
So if you like love the journey of learning, you can learn anything.
True.
Just anything.
Yep.
So like,
true.
yeah, you were talking and I was just like, oh my gosh, yes. The love of learning.
Yeah, truer words have never been spoken on you. That's an incredible story, like of resilience and like human heart, really. Because I swear, like when you can tell when someone loves learning because, like you said, it's instantly not about the destination, and it's it sounds so trite to say like those words, but you're totally right. Like it's the joy of feeling that you're getting better at something, and doing something you couldn't do yesterday. And that's what has always kept me going too. So I feel like we're very similar. Like I feel like you're describing me when you're describing. Now I didn't have to overcome what you did, so I mean, massive respect. I didn't. That's incredible. The only thing I could relate to is the feeling of it's getting better at something is the goal, not getting to point B. And when I think like when someone wants to get from point A to point B, like if point A is a beginner in art and point B is working at Pixar, you tend to try and devise some like straight line from point A to point B. It's like, oh, I have to like animate something that's going to impress people at Pixar. But if you do that, if you're like, and I did this too, I'm speaking from personal experience here. If you only think of point B and you try and find the straightest line from point A to point B, you are going to miss so much auxiliary stuff that makes your art stronger. 100%. I mean, like John was talking about animation and quill. I spent some time in quill as well, and like sculpting and even music playing. Like it all informs your art. If art is like your main vehicle, everything you do informs it. And if you only have that myopic, like I want to work at Pixar type thing, like I did, when I was younger, you're gonna miss a lot of that fuel, that nutrients that has to come into your art to be at your best, and in order to express your personality in your paintings, which ultimately I think should be the kind of the driving force for everyone, is to be able to express yourself in your paintings. Someone looks at your art and is like, oh, that's from Anya, that's from Marco, that's from John, and like there's never a question about that. That's what I feel like happens when you allow all kinds of influences in, and it's a weird thing, like the way that you move your hand and the way your brain thinks about problems is all about your own personality. And I guess learning the fundamentals unlocks your ability to unleash your personality in your art, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because then you can do it like at will.
Yeah, exactly. Relates back to what you were saying before, where you're not thinking about the fundamentals anymore. You're thinking about what you want to say. And the fundamentals just click fall in place for you to do that. It takes years. I mean, I've been doing this since 2001. So here I am, 23 years later. Now, it didn't take me
23 years too.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Now, it doesn't take 23 years for that to click into place. That's for me, and I can trace this back. I remember the very first painting I did where I felt that was happening. Oh, it's like my daughter's home with my mom.
The plumber, I was going to say the plumber's there.
The plumber, no, he's gone. Everything's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. The place is flooded. It's a write-off. I remember the first painting I did where I felt those pieces click was 2008. I started in 2001. Now, again, I probably had been working up to this for this whole time, but in 2008, I did the first painting where I'm like, oh, like I hit a level where I didn't think I could ever get to, where I felt like my personality was in the work. And it wasn't just me feeling that way. Like people reacted that way. I remember my cousin, probably the best compliment I ever got was that year. My cousin, we were out for lunch and she had seen that painting. It was the one of the kid and the monster jumping on the bed, if people know my green monster character. And she's like, that painting feels like you. And that was the best compliment I ever got, because I never thought I could ever get there. And that's why I want to do art, is because for some reason I have it in me to want to express that way. So it's
so crazy that you mentioned that, because so I started taking art very seriously about 5 years ago. And I just got that compliment for the first time last week.
Congrats. That's great.
There you go. There you go. And don't you guys think and Marco, don't you think like now being on the other side that like art, because that was our chosen path to like figure out how to do something well. It sort of like was like the key that unlocked how to do everything well. Like, like what's required, like how to approach it. Like, like,
the way.
Like it's like focus on the fundamentals, and like you look for that group of fundamentals, then you practice the crap out of it, and you do like, it's funny. It gives you that insight into how you could. And it's really funny because I saw, I would see people come into the MMA gym and they were like, I said this to the coach and he started laughing. He goes, "That's true." Because I said, these guys came in and they sucked and they were like, "Oh, who's your best fighter?" or whatever. This happens all the time, but they're like, "Who's your best fighter?" Like we want to, fight them or whatever. And like, to prove themselves or whatever. Yeah. And they have such a disrespect for the what it takes to be that good, And I said to him, I said, anybody that comes in there and thinks that they could just come off the street and do it is probably not good at anything. I was like, because if they were good at something, they would know you can't. Like none of us would, like, after trying art, like none of us, like the most, like if we don't play violin or something like that, right? It's like none of us would say like, "Oh yeah, I could, just give me a violin. Yeah, I'm good." Yeah. Even us playing guitar, it's like you go to a violin, you're like, you'd be like, "I don't know how to play violin." You'd be like, "I don't know anything about violin," or whatever. That's what I would say, So it's just funny. Like I think it unlocks like, and then you realize, then there's that sad moment. I don't know. I had the sad moment where I was like, "Dang, I can't do everything. Like I can only do." Like I can only really invest in like a few things. Like I don't have enough lifetimes to really, So then you see a musician or you see somebody that's just like amazing at something. You're like, dang, I wish I could do it, but I there's no way. There's no way that I could express in that form. That way.
Because what it takes.
Yeah, because it's just not possible. I don't have enough years.
Exactly. So. Yeah, and it's such a good point, John, about when you know the way you need, the path you need to take to get good at something. And I applied it to woodworking, and I feel like I'm not by no means some master or anything, but I feel like I've my learning has been accelerated with woodworking and electronics as well.
Yes.
Art. I'm like, I need to learn this a specific way. Like it's the intricacies you have to navigate.
Yes.
What you need to, is what you know.
You know how to filter out the crap that's not true. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like the most powerful thing someone could do is like decide what's important versus what's not important. Yeah, and that's what a beginner can't do in any realm.
That's right. That's right.
But when you when you look at like a Craig Mullins painting, it's like, Well, how did he make all those decisions? Because when you look at Craig Mullins being one of my favorites, or Sargent or anything like that, you're like, they made those decisions because they have such a clear hierarchy in their head, what's important versus what's not. And they just remove anything they don't think is important. And their vision is so clear that it works. And they have the experience to know that it's going to work. Yeah. So I feel like that's...
Marco, can I put you on the spot?
Well, like you haven't already?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. So, what's your favorite Craig Mullins piece?
Oh, that's a good man. You're tons of good questions here. Oh boy. Oh man. There is one. Okay, I mean, this is the one that just popped in my head. And this was back in the days where he was painting with a mouse because Craig Mullins like
yeah. Yeah.
What?
I saw his first painting. Did you ever see his first painting?
Let me see if I can Google it. No. What? Maybe. What was it?
Okay.
Robbie showed it to me. I
need to give Marco the ability to paste. So let me do that. Yeah. Okay. Now, Marco, you have the pasting capabilities.
Okay. Well, there's two. Okay. I'm just Googling stuff here.
It was like Apple. It was like an Apple Paint thing. And it was like, no joke, man. Like it looked like Microsoft Paint kind of a style. It was really small too, because it was so old that it was like 240 by 360 or something.
Oh, I love it.
It was really small, but it was like he used the tools there to create like a gradient and like make it was like almost like if I remember right, it was like a landscape, or a composition study, like sort of like a landscape composition study, and it was good. It's like everybody looked at that and probably thought it was so dumb back then, but then now they're there.
Okay, well, I have one. This is actually not the one that came to mind, but this is also one I can paste. I can just Control V in here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
It might be underneath some layers, so you may want to drag your layer all the way to the top, or you can right click and there should be like a move layer to the top situation.
Right click.
Yeah, arrange. It's under arrange.
Arrange.
Oh, arrange. Where's arrange? Sorry.
It should be at the bottom. I think it's at the bottom of that list on the layers.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe. You have to own... Yeah.
Oh, allow. Did it work?
Yeah, it's in the back here.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay. How can I bring that forward?
Just grab your layer on the right and just right click it and arrange. Okay. And then to the top.
Sorry, the stuff you just told me. Yep.
No, you're good. You're good. There's a lot of stuff in Magma now. It's evolved.
Oh, it's in the edit tab too. Oh yeah,
there it is. Tab. Okay, it is okay. It's low res when I pasted it in. That's just one of them. Just because like there's so much stuff. I don't know how I can
hold on. That. With a mouse?
No, that wasn't with a mouse.
Okay.
I can't. He could totally do that with a mouse. Though.
But he could do it with a mouse.
100%, he could do that with a mouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did,
God? Like what is this?
Oh yeah, I mean yeah.
Well, yeah, but like look at the main right here. Like you can see it like the main like right here, like that main is so loose. Like, it's so loose.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like when I look at a Craig Mullins piece, you can hear sound and smell smells. It's just like it's done with gestural strokes. It's just my favorite thing ever. I just love Craig Mullins' work, and I was fortunate enough to meet him at Lightbox last year too.
Dude, he's awesome. I wanted to talk to him more. He's such a weirdo, and I love it. He had a.
I have yet to meet him.
This was really funny. This is really funny. He to me, he's like when you meet him, you're like, okay, yeah, he's a genius. Like he strikes you as that, like how you would expect. But what's really funny, Marco, is like 3 or 4 years ago, or whatever, at Lightbox, they gave me and him. We shared a. Like I haven't had a booth, right? But there was like a area where it was just they just put the two of us, right? And it's Craig Mullins / John Hardesty, and so I was sitting there like during certain times, and the whole Lightbox, people would look over and look up and be like, oh, and they look down, and I'd go, "I'm not Craig." I'd be like, "I'm not Craig." I was like telling everybody, "I'm not Craig." I'm gonna get a sign. I'm going to get a sign. And then it was so funny because everybody would come over and they'd be like, hey. And I was like, just want to tell you I'm not Craig. And they were like, oh, but you're
But
John,
who
you're
are
John,
you?
right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm John. I'm like, listen, I was like, listen, you're good. Just keep moving, keep it moving. It's okay. I was like, don't feel like you have to, because everybody
Oh,
felt
that's
trapped. And they
hilarious.
were like, they felt
Oh,
trapped.
Yeah.
well,
Like,
I'm sorry you felt like the
Talk about a
letdown
humbling
part of that
situation.
booth.
yeah.
Like,
It was awesome.
but
That is
but
hilarious.
it's just like you to take that and
I'm
just
sorry
like,
that
laugh
happened
at
to you,
it.
John.
Like,
What's that? What'd you say,
Yeah.
Marco?
I said, I'm sorry that happened to you.
Oh no, it's totally fine. And actually, I got to meet him, and it was really funny because he walked in, and I shook his hand, and I was like, "Hey, man!"
Yeah.
I was like, "What's up?" I was like, "Looks like we got a booth together." When I shook his hand, he had like regular Scotch tape like all over his fingers, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, dude." I was like, "What's going on with your hand?" He's like, "Oh, I shut it in my car door or whatever," and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Dude, I'm sorry." I was like, "I just shook your hand," like, and then Bobby's like, "Come here, we got to go," and then I saw him. Like that, I didn't see him once the whole rest of the time. Not one other time. That was like first like 10 seconds, and that was it.
At his own booth?
Yeah, he was never at his booth like the whole rest of the time. Never.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Being Greg
hilarious.
Manchester, though, Greg Manchester was next to me, and then some other people were there. We were like
Yeah, big
cracking
fan.
up like the whole time, and it was really fun. I actually gave Greg Manchester a painting. I did like a painting demo, and I gave it to him, and but somebody stole it. Somebody stole it from his thing. They stole it. He came back the next day. He's like, "John, somebody stole your painting from my booth." He's like, "They took it off the top of the thing," and I was like,
Are you serious?
and I was like, "Oh yeah, they totally stole it."
I've heard that happens to a lot of people with booths. Like some
Lightbox?
people keep
Yeah,
grabbing
at Lightbox,
things.
yeah. I'm doing
Which is
I'm doing
sad.
a demo. I'm doing a painting demo now. I'm gonna have like a little section where I'm painting like a portrait throughout the days, and Bobby told me, he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "there's so many people going through." He's like, "You just need to take it back to the hotel room in between." He's like, "Or it'll get stolen," you know.
I feel
And
like
I
that's
was like,
extra low. Like we're all like-minded artists, and you feel like your work would be safe there, you know?
yeah,
Of any place, your work would be safe there.
maybe I should put like a juju curse on it and like see if somebody steals it. And then on the back, that'll be written. It'll be like, "Whoever steals this painting, like, draws the curse of all dead artists on them." So like you'll be visited by Sergeant's ghost, and
We just need Anya there with the front kick ready.
Yes, Anya.
Guys, don't. I
Let's
did
go.
not. So I haven't gotten back into martial arts. I know I'm pretty good at knowing all of my pressure points. So if I had to, I could
That
probably
crap doesn't
put
work at
someone
all.
down.
The pressure point thing does
I
not
could
work at
probably
all.
put someone down really quickly.
No,
Oh, you
Anya,
want me to
that's
try,
bullshit.
John?
You listen. That is like all that pressure point crap is like
put
somebody's
you
gonna
down?
elbow you in the face while you're putting like a
Listen.
pressure point thing down.
John, haven't you seen
Pressure
Kill
point.
Bill?
Yes, true. The heart explosion. It's
I
good.
spent a lot of time with my Shihan learning a whole bunch of pressure points because I was the only female black belt. And basically what he was saying is like, because I would like walk to karate class in darkness. And he was like, okay.
Got you.
So he would teach me a lot of like, somebody grabs you this way, what do you do? And he would jump me during class. He would literally like just randomly jump me, and I had to like either pass or fail.
I like that. Yeah.
And so that's how I kind of learned how to walk down street corners and not be looking like a target, because you can walk certain ways to tell people like, hey, don't mess with me.
That's right.
So I don't have the muscle capacity I used to. I don't I'm not the same, but there are lessons that you learn from this.
You can do a pressure point thing. I mean, next time you see me, do the pressure point thing. I want to see.
I request to be present. I want to be there.
So you guys should talk to my husband, because he used to try to randomly tickle me. He does no longer do that. He does not do that anymore.
I get a violent reaction to that too, Anya. I tell my kids not to do it. I'm like, I'm like, I can turn off my ticklers, just like my arms and armpits and stuff, but my feet, like, I'm like, please don't, because I'll just kick like a mule. And like, I'm like, please don't. Like, I don't want to hurt them. They kind of want to do it because they,
So for me, it's less about hitting, and it's more about like, I know how to throw someone down and then put my thumbs or my hands in areas of your skeletal musculature that will have you
That
just
hurts.
like screaming.
Yeah, that is not
Like-
that would not work. There is no chance that works, Anya. Like,
Oh,
that
Hardesty is so confident.
no chance that
Let's
works.
see how it goes.
I think
a real fight is like a car crash. It is like a car crash. There is like
This is
it
true.
is like legit. It is chaos. Like
yeah.
somebody just runs at you. Like they run at you and there's flailing and there's all this like there's no way. Yeah, it's not there's no like I'm gonna put my thumbs in your armpits and like go in between your pec
Yeah,
muscles
but
and
hey,
or jam it down
John,
above your
John.
clavicle or whatever. Like that no. That
If
ain't
you
I'm
are,
sorry.
let's say
I'm not saying
like
you're not good and you couldn't
constantly-
beat the crap out of people. I'm just saying the whole pressure point thing is not. That's not. I can't go with that. I'm
disagree.
sorry.
This is a hot topic.
I want
right
to
now.
see. I want to see
disagree.
you. I want to see you.
We're gonna
I
sell
wanna-
tickets. We're gonna take over Lightbox. Bro. We're doing it.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the ring, we have
Guys.
John over here.
Well, see, because
Anya
I'm
over here.
accustomed to having like 250-pound dudes like put
Oh, here's
like
my
knees
problem,
on my
though.
ribs and like be pulling like
You're
I'm accustomed to
so
all that.
tall. That's
You
my
know?
problem. I'm 5'3". He's like 10 foot
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah, you gotta reach
That's
up
my
to get the
problem.
pressure points.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to throw him down on the ground. And I don't know if I can do that because I no longer have the musculature I used to, but
You
I think it
couldn't.
worked out until then.
I mean, size is a thing. Like size is definitely
Yeah.
a thing. Like it really is. Like it's not, I mean, they usually say like for every, what do they say? Like in jiu-jitsu, it's like every 10 pounds is like half a belt or something like that.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
go
yeah, I've heard
up.
that.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so people that are really good, like anybody
like
that's
that.
in the UFC would make me look like, it doesn't matter what size they are. If they were 110 pounds, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anybody, all the women, like, that probably as well. I mean, jiu-jitsu, I'd be able to give the women a little bit more trouble if they were really small, if they were like 115 pounds, because I'm like 210. So it's a lot. And I've done it for 6 years. So I would give them a little bit of trouble at least. But most of all the guys for sure, doesn't matter what size they are, would make me look like a child. Like it's not, but it's, if you're really good, but like if somebody's like on my level and they're 120 pounds, like there's no chance, or even just a little bit above me, like no, it's gonna be
Right.
it's gonna be really difficult. They have to be
Right.
well above me to do that. So there's no way you could throw me down. Like there's no possible way.
There's no way.
You can be the final boss then, John.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'll let you.
Let's
Like
get it. Okay, so this is
I'll let
even
you
spicy-
toss me.
this
Like
is
I'll
even
let you.
spicier.
What would you do? Is like more of like a judo toss? Is it like that? Is that what you would do? No, is that what you
I'm
did?
not gonna tell you. I'm
Or
not
was
gonna
it
tell
more
you.
like a what's it called, where you like twist people's hands and put like what's that called? Dang it. The one like where they like twist joints and like send people down, like you twist their wrist and
Yeah,
like
no,
put
I'm
pressure on
more of like use my
Aikido. I'm
weight.
thinking of Aikido.
I'm more of a like use my weight and throw you around kind of a thing. But
So, like wrestling or
also-
judo? Is it more like judo?
Oh, look at that.
Hey,
This is
This girl
Evie.
is like the same age as my boy.
what's up, Evie?
So cute. Hi,
See, look,
Evie.
Evie. This is Anya here, and there's John there, and
Hi.
everyone is drawing all this stuff. Look at all
Hey,
this stuff.
Evie,
Isn't that
you
cool?
want to see something funny?
Yeah.
Take a look at this. Look at this stuffed animal I have. This
Look-
is so.
Look over here.
Look at
Oh,
this
look at that guy. What is that?
Awesome.
Look at that. That's funny, right? And look at this guy. He's real weird. Look at this.
Oh, wait.
This one's really weird. Look at this.
Oh,
See that?
that looks like that cartoon with the face pulling. Remember?
That one's a little creepy. I made this guy. I
Oh.
needle felted this guy. Look at this.
Oh.
He's like a
Oh, you
cactus.
did it yourself?
Oh, that's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah, I tried it. I was on vacation and I was like, I'm gonna try needle felting. It's funny.
Those are great, John.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Look at all this stuff, Evie. Isn't that
I
cool?
have this thing where I want to collect like disturbing stuffed animals. So I just like them. Like they're just weird, real weird stuff.
Usually Evie would be in school today, but she got a fever yesterday, and the school has a policy where she has to be fever free for 24 hours. So her grandmother took her today, and she just got home.
She's so cute, man. She's
Yeah.
super cute.
Yeah.
She's just about to turn 5, this little one.
Nice. So do you have, is it just Evie or do you have more kids or do you?
I've got a younger son, Anderson, who's about to, well, he'll be 3 in January. So 4 and 2 currently.
Dude, you're in it, man. You're in it.
I'm in it. Yep.
Yeah. I've got 14, 12, and 7. So it's Sam,
Wow.
Violet, and Pip. Yeah. So
that's a good range.
Yeah.
And my son turns 5 on Friday.
Oh, well, congrats.
On Friday. Nice. That's awesome.
Turns 5 on the 22nd, right?
Wow.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You get your
magical.
No? Okay.
Your hair's majestic, Evie. It's majestic.
Yes.
Majestic is very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go back to London? No, you want to stay here?
Yeah, that's it.
So Daddy I drew this big guy, and I drew that guy, and then everyone else is drawing all this other stuff. Isn't that cool?
Dang, who did the still life like in the bottom left?
Yeah, look at this.
I think that would be Cybernaut. That looks like Cybernaut.
Nice.
Yeah. So Cybernaut is one of our moderators. He's very, very good.
Yeah, good stuff. Oh yeah, it's Cybernaut. There he is.
Person.
There's this daddy as a zombie. Does it look like me? Yeah. There's a little nod. Yeah.
Who else drew that? Because I was doing like the stuff on the face, but who who drew the body and stuff?
Yana started that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's
and
right.
I don't know if she's still here. She was here. I messaged her on Instagram.
Is this Vens? Did Vens do this like dragon guy over here? Like,
I think she came over here.
This looks like Vens, maybe. Maybe. I think
maybe.
So.
Not sure.
I love this like Mike Tyson or whatever that's there too. Like
yeah.
I like the I see some Green Monster references. Thanks. That's so cool to see. I like that glowy little fire dude on top there.
Yeah, the pyro.
That's Pyro. That's our mascot.
Oh, nice. Very nice luminescent quality to it.
That's good.
So I do have one last question before, because we're getting close to time now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering if you could give any advice to your 19-year-old self about the journey to come, what would it be?
The best advice, and this is sorry to piggyback on something that we kind of talked about a little bit before, but my best advice to my 19-year-old self and to anyone who feels like they're kind of just starting out is it's great to have your sights set on like a goal. Your goal could be a level of skill or a place you want to get to physically, like a job you want to get. But don't try not to pre-plot yourself a straight line to that. Make sure you leave yourself room to meander, because all of that is going to help. And it's going to help inform you and help you ultimately be able to express yourself in your art in a way that is undeniable to the viewer. That they're going to notice you more in the end. Also, more on a realistic life level, try not to tie your personal income to your art too early.
Yes,
because that can hamstring you, and
100%.
It's not good. I've seen that. I can't think of any more of that. Like, try not to do it. Like, I can use myself as an example. I always worked other jobs while I felt like I wasn't there yet. And I didn't leave those jobs until I actually had some art stuff going. So I feel like on a practical risk-taking level, that's my advice there. Obviously, take it or leave it, but that's what I would recommend.
Well, that's good. Good.
That's really wise, honestly.
Yeah. It just makes sense to me to not, because that's, you don't want to tie that level of importance if you are in a level of uncertainty currently. You want to have a roof over your head, literally, while you grow your skills.
I always say it's like whatever level of simplification and discomfort like that, like you can commit really early, like, and just be all in, but you better be willing to like eat like white bread and water
and lentils.
And lentils. Yeah. It's like, so you just have to be willing to like live on nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, which is not everybody says they can do that, but they kind of can't. Like, most people don't actually. It sucks to do that. You know what I mean? Like, it really does. Like, anybody that's
a lot of personal sacrifice.
Yeah. So exactly like you said, pace yourself. And also like Anya and I we were talking about this the other day, where like people jump into it too much, like too fast, and they're good at something, so they become competent at something, right? And then they start doing that for money, and they can't grow or change because they're not great at it, they're like competent at it, and so they make money that's equivalent to their skill level, but they can't ever, because they're so committed. Now they've got like bills, like you said, like, you know, they've got like rent and stuff. They got to keep doing that thing that they're like an amateur at, sort of.
Yeah.
And they can't ever get to the next level because they've committed too early. Like you said, that's really,
and they don't like spend. So you would like art all day at a studio. You come back, you're too tired. You don't work on your skill set.
Right.
Rinse and repeat. And then you're stuck in that like zone of like, you can only make this much because you're not improving.
That's right. That's right. And you can't pivot. You can't do anything different. You can't like, it's like, I see that happen all the time. You know, all the time.
Yeah. So I think it's a pretty good collection of advice there.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good stuff. Really good stuff. She's so cute. Oh, I hate when they're sick, man.
Yeah, this little one needs a bit of a nap. I think she's still a little warm.
I hate that when they're sick. That's the worst. Like, you know, when you see them sitting still and they're like, they never sit still, and you're just like, oh man, you know, that's the worst.
Right.
Yeah, their eyes are shut.
Yeah.
Sorry, I do want to be sensitive to your situation. Do you need to go take care of her?
I probably do have to go soon, but you know what? Her grandmother's still here. So Evie, why don't you go see Nona, and Daddy will finish up here? Okay. Okay. Say bye to everybody.
Yeah, Evie, nice to meet you, girl.
Bye,
say bye.
Sweetheart. Feel better soon.
She will. Careful going down the stairs.
She's so cute.
Thanks. Yeah. No. Thankfully, my mom has the day free, so
nice.
That's the joys of retirement for them, is they see the grandkids a lot more.
Dude, I cannot freaking wait to be a grandpa. Like, I'm gonna be. My grandpa was like epic. We were supposed to go to the library and like get books, and he would just like roll down the hill with us, like, and like I'd get there and he'd be like, hey, I got this sweet cereal your mom doesn't like when you have sweet cereal. I was like, yeah, I know. He's like, I got it, and he would dump out the whole thing and give me the toy and be like, give me like a massive. I was like, this man is amazing. I was like, that's totally how I'm gonna be as a grandparent. I'm gonna totally like.
I could see it, John. That's such a far way away from me. Like, my kids are like 5, like I said, 4 and 2, so it's a long way away from me. But it's gonna be an amazing day when it happens.
I know. I'm old.
Same here. Like, my in-laws love being grandparents. Yeah. They are taking David to a water park tomorrow, and he is like, he's been talking about it all day because there's pictures on the website of like an alligator in a lazy river, and he's like, I need to meet the alligator. Like, it's his. He's like, I need to meet the alligator.
That's good.
So he's been talking about that alligator like all of yesterday, and he's probably freaking out right now because he's at the water park.
That's awesome.
That's great.
So excited. So
what being a kid is all about.
I know.
Right.
I know.
That's right.
And they're so happy to be grandparents. They spoil him rotten. They're amazing.
Yeah.
So
that's their job for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's Ngannou. Now that you adjusted the head, that's Ngannou.
Yeah. It's Ngannou. Yeah, loosely based anyway.
No, I love it. It looks like his head
shape.
Yes, and his like whatever you'd call, like his upper torso or whatever.
Yeah,
dude, that's good, man. That's good.
Yeah, thanks,
I just looked at it in passing. I thought it was Tyson, but then when you just made some adjustment. I was like, oh, that's Ngannou.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I only decided to paint Ngannou when I learned that.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
That's just for you.
That is a scary man. That is a scary man. There is few people on the planet like,
don't try and pressure point him.
Yeah, that's.
Listen. If somebody tries to attack me, I will pressure point anybody.
You see this guy on my background? This is when you talk about pressure points. This is me. This is me right here. Like,
John, I don't think you know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's okay.
Oh, I do. People come in all the time, Anya. People come in all the time with the pressure point karate stuff, and
you can tell that you guys know each other. It's great.
Yeah. And watch, she's gonna do it. I'll be like, dang it! I'll be like, that hurts.
Yeah. No, I know how to hurt people. Not to be like super spicy. But I think we have time for one spicy question. One last question for you, Marco, and for John if he wants it.
Sure.
Is there like a misconception that people have about art that just grinds your gears. It just like annoys you when people say that.
Probably
You want to go, Marco? Yeah, you
sure.
go.
I mean, for me, it's always been the talent thing where just someone comes in and says, "Oh, like you're so talented, I can never do that."
100%. 100%. Yeah.
It's like no, not at all, really. I mean, I love showing people my work when I was 19. I'm like, do you see talent here? Nope. It's just, Anya said it earlier. It's if I have anything, it's a passion for learning. That's all it is.
Yeah, 100%.
If I was born with anything, it's a passion for learning, not talent.
Yep, for sure. I think the other thing that grinds my gears is that, like, it bugs me is that when people say you can't make money doing it, because then these kids want to do it for a living, and people are like, you can't make money, and I was like,
it makes me so sad.
Yeah, so when I was first training, like, you know, I did a lot of research and did a lot of things, you know, like that, and so, and you know, guys know how I am as a person or whatever, but I was like, people would say like, oh, you want to be a starving artist or whatever, you know, blah blah, whatever they would say stuff. And I would always say, oh, so you know an artist that failed? And they'd be like, well, no. And I was like, well, do you know any artists, you know, that have done it, tried to do it for a living? No. And I was like, do you know any framers? And they're like, no. And I was like, and I would ask them like a whole series of questions, like, and I'd say, then what the heck gives you the right to like declare anything about this? Like, you literally have zero knowledge, you know? And and they were always like, okay. And I was like, well, no, you're coming telling me I can't do this. And you're like, it's like saying that rocket can't go there in space. And it's like, are you a physicist? It's like, no, I don't even like math. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, it's just, so it just bugs the crap. That bugs the crap out of me when people say that. Because then kids are like, I guess I'll be an accountant, you know?
I think that boils down to something that I recently implemented in my life, which is like, if you do not want a life like this person, do not take their advice.
Yeah, right. There you go. That's clean. That's clean, cut, and simple. Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I have loved spending all of this time with you guys. Sorry, did I just cut you off?
No, I was just gonna say that's something that comes with age for sure. That realization that you just said.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
This has been great, guys. Thank you. Sorry, Anya.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for coming, guys. I really appreciate you guys, and I respect your time, as I'm sure everyone here does. So I will let you guys go and end the stream. But I just really want to thank everyone for showing and for drawing. Everyone did such a wonderful job.
Yeah, look at this canvas. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me, everyone, and Anya especially for inviting me in the first place. And John, great to see you again. Hopefully I'll see you guys. Hopefully I'll see both of you in October.
Yeah, are you? So you're going, right? You're going, right?
Yep, I'm going.
Yes.
I've got a couple panels I'm doing.
Nice.
I will try my best. I will try my darndest.
I'm going to add a RIP Tyson Fury on here.
Nice.
And with
I think he won. I think he won. He won.
Yeah, spiritually he did anyway.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right.
That's great. That finishes it off. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Signature made, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Let's do this again in the future, guys. See ya.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, guys. Take care.